Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the HHH Racing Podcast, episode 78. I'm your host, Howard Kravitz. Thanks so much for joining me today. We have a fantastic special show for you. Before we get started, please make sure you subscribe right there on the bottom right side of the screen. And after you do that, hit that notification bell so you know when new content will arise. You can find me on Twitter. You can see on my name tag at HKravitz, or you can email me as you see on the scroll in the bottom, hkravitzhorse@gmail.com. We've got a lot to get to. I'm very excited to bring on our repeat guest. She has a very busy schedule, so we're going to jump on right now. We're not going to waste any time whatsoever. You can find her on the simulcast at Santa Anita International Racing. She has her own podcast, on In the Money Media, the Owner's Box. She's been on this show before. Michelle Yu is with us once again. Michelle, how you doing today?
I'm good, Howard. How are you?
I'm doing good. So
you make me sound
listen,
so busy.
Listen, I'm not the one that's busy because I saw something yesterday. I got to bring up to you real quick. So I was very busy yesterday. I didn't have a chance to catch the happy hour, the horse racing happy hour that you were on with, by the way, the newly coiffed Matt Bernier without the facial hair, looking pretty decent himself. But there's a little bit of a kerfuffle, a little bit of a, I don't know. We've got to talk about this for just a second. So if those of you maybe don't know what I'm talking about, Michelle was on Horse Players Happy Hour, of course, yesterday, doing a fantastic job, as she always does. And let's see what Michelle had to say yesterday about coming on the show today.
She was giving me a hard time on social. It was not a matter of I didn't want to sit there and chat with Michelle. Howard said that he had Michelle for the podcast. I said, you're in good hands. You don't need me then. She knows a hell of a lot more than I do anyway. So
he straight up said, he was like, oh, I was going to have Matt come on. But then I told him that you were on, and he was like, maybe not.
That is not how it went at all.
It was him.
That is not at all how it went.
Howard seems like a mild-mannered, school teacher, but he's stirring the pot here. I think he's.
Wow! All right, Michelle, you got to explain yourself. What happened there?
I just like to stir up shit.
I knew you'd get a good laugh there. I'm just giving you a hard time. There was a great time on the show yesterday. I was very happy, of course, to have Michelle on one more time. And one other thing, Michelle, I know that Nick Tamro just got the job of announcer at Sam Houston. However, they better look out because I think there's someone else that might be very interested in taking that job. Let's hear Michelle on the call yesterday at Saratoga Race 9.
She's going to draw off by a length, make it 2. It's a little ways back to the 6 horse, and that is Diva Banker in 3rd. The rest of them pretty strung out. As they come into the turn, it's still Sadie Lady here on the front end, and she's increasing that advantage, and it looks like Awesome Debate has nothing to say to that because she can't even come close to sniffing Sadie Lady.
That was a good one.
Draw off by yet another length. Diva Banker trying to make up some ground in 3rd. In 4th, that's going to be Irish Constitution coming in here off the break with Rosario, and it's a long way back to Hannah Dances, who might want to sit on the bench when she's in the mud. As they come around the turn, Sadie Lady still has the lead, but here comes Awesome Debate. She took a breather, and now she's unleashing Sadie Lady on the front and Awesome Debate on the other. Now they come down to the line. Here's Awesome Debate on the outside to push clear. Once she got free, she was going to be impressive in the slub here. Sadie Lady denied the victory here at odds on, and Awesome Debate is no shot to lose this race as she comes home in front.
Wow!
Funny.
All right, Michelle, give me your impressions. How'd you think? Give me your self-commentary.
Oh, I mean, amateur at best. At least I got the names right. It's all just good fun. I'm definitely no Travis Stone, and not trying to be. It's just a fun thing to do every now and then. That was just on the fly, and no colors, no nothing. Barely can see because I'm on my phone. That's why you see me like this. It's not my fake binoculars. It's because this helps me see my phone better.
I was hoping to hear an Awesome Debate, awesome indeed, or some kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Tom Durkin was so good with that. Anyway, it's so easy to say after the fact. All right, Michelle, I know, we're just having a little fun to start the show. We got a lot of people watching. We've got a huge day. Real quick, we got some people already. Jim is here. He's hoping to go to
Hi, Jim.
Saratoga or Del Mar. Not sure which one to go to. Real tough call. You want it real quick. I know you talked yesterday on the show. They're both great, right, in their own way.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it depends on what you're looking for, really. I mean, if you and your buddies are willing to go and spend like a week somewhere, I think that it's awesome to go to Saratoga and you spend the off days on the lake and you get to walk around downtown and, go to the water places and ride the carousel and eat some Ben and Jerry's and really take in kind of everything that is at Saratoga. If you're looking for like a quick weekend trip, I just think that Del Mar is super easy to get to, right? I mean, it's a task to get to Saratoga. So when you come into Del Mar, you fly right in. It's super quick. It's easy. You do the races and then the beach and eat dinner and you can call it a day. So it depends on kind of what you're looking for as far as fun goes and also how long you can spend.
Michael watched the show, said everything was great yesterday. They want you to call another, I misspelled the name, sorry about that. Want you to call another race. Hopefully, I don't know. There's Michelle wears many hats. She's multi-talented, very, very diversified. So, Michelle, thanks for joining us today. I know both of our schedules are very busy. And by the way, today, I don't know if you saw my email, 50th birthday today, right now, me.
Is your happy birthday?
Thank you.
So I'll be honest with you, Howard. I didn't read your email until I just clicked on the StreamYard. So okay. I didn't even know that I was supposed to send pics or anything. Sorry. That kind of stuff has to be texted to me.
That's okay. I was going to have a glass of champagne nearby, but right after the show, I'm going to Arlington to meet some friends. So I will be partaking in some beverages at Arlington. So, Michelle, let's get on to it now. Saturday, huge day of racing at Del Mar. Tomorrow, Pacific Classic Day. Before we get into the handicapping, just one question. Do you have a favorite Pacific Classic moment? Because I have one for sure that I want to share with you.
So I'm a huge Best Pal fan. So Best Pal winning the Pacific Classic was really great. And it kind of was one of my like shaping memories of getting into horse racing. But like a recent memory was Beholder winning. And I think a lot of people will probably, fall on that as like a defunct type pick. But she was just so breathtaking in that. And it was cool to get to see a filly against the boys and just manhandle them the way that she did. So getting to be on track for that was a really cool moment. So those would be my two favorite Pacific Classics.
It wouldn't happen to be this particular moment, would it? Because that is my number one. You're going to get chills watching this probably again. I know I will. Let's just watch just a minute of Beholder running an unbelievable race in Pacific Classic 2015.
Into the turn they go in the TVG Pacific Classic, and Bayern is still the leader. Here comes Beholder.
Oh my, look at this move. Are you kidding me, this move?
Beholder strikes the front. Gary Stevens hasn't moved. And Beholder's opened up to lead by 5. Red Vine making a run. Opportunity on the outside. Bayern did not go on. Then it's Catch a Flight. They turn for home in the Pacific Classic, and it's Beholder. Gary Stevens just shakes the reins at her, and Beholder is opening up on them. Almost impossible to believe. She's turned this into an exercise gallop. Beholder is absolutely poetry in motion. Beholder and Gary Stevens didn't win it. They romped in the Pacific Classic.
What a great call by Trevor Denman. I mean, I've been getting chills right now. We talked about how much we talked, Michelle, how much we loved Rachel Alexandra. Beholder's my second favorite filly of all time, especially because I needed her in the Breeders' Cup against Songbird for a very nice pick 4. I still have friends Michelle, that think she lost that photo to Songbird. Everyone get over it. She won the race, but Beholder was awesome.
Yeah, that was a great. Getting to watch it again gives me chills all over again.
Isn't it? All right, so maybe there'll be another Beholder moment tomorrow on the Pacific Classic. We have about 35 minutes, folks, so we're going to go through the 6 races relatively quickly. I'm sure Michelle might want to show a replay or two, as will I. There are fantastic stakes all over the place. There's 2 grade 1s, 2 grade 2s, and a grade 3, Michelle. 5 of the 6 races are grade stakes, just a fantastic card. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up the PPs right now. It's going to start. Hold on just one second as I bring that up. And There we go. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's going to start in race 6, Michelle. And the sequence starts at 7:34 Eastern Standard Time, approximately. It starts with the Grade 3 Torrey Pines. It's 1 mile. It's on dirt. It's for restricted 3-year-old fillies. I thought this was a very tricky race, Michelle. Who do you like in the Torrey Pines?
So I like Forrest Caraway in here. I know she hasn't routed before, but she's by Bodemeister, so should be able to get the 2 turns here. Obviously, with the race under her belt, I think that she should move forward. She did falter against Graded Stakes Company last year, but watching her work in the morning, especially, she just worked like 2 days ago, I think. She looked super good. She just annihilated her workmate, and I thought she looked really strong. So I'm going to look for Forrest Caraway for Peter Miller on the stretch out there. And I'm also a big fan of I'm So Anna. It's a Calbred here going against Open Company fillies, and her stakes races have been mostly restricted to Calbreds, although she did win the Pike Place Dancer, which was against open horses. But I just think that she does a lot of things right, and I like that she has a mile and a 16th race under her belt, because I think that even though she cut back to 7 last time, that's going to give her the finish to be able to stretch out to a mile here.
Yeah, she has something that a lot of these horses don't, Michelle, which is 2-turn experience. As someone, obviously, your husband Ryan. By the way, congratulations on your wins that you've had so far at Del Mar. We should, if we had more time, we would talk about that. But how much do you think the 2-turn experience factor matters in a race like this?
I definitely think that it's not just the experience factor, it's the fitness factor, right? So you look at I'm So Anna, she has plenty of foundation. She has so many route races. So stretching back out, sometimes when horses are going 2 turns for the first 10, they just get leg weary. But she should have plenty of foundation there to be able to back up, what she's throwing down. You have horses like Lady Mystify and Lizette who do also have 2-turn experience. However, Lisette is first time versus winners, and I just don't like that angle, especially jumping in here into Stakes Company, although she did look really good breaking her maiden. I'm concerned with just, the try in a Stakes Company. And as far as Lady Mystify goes, she was a really impressive maiden winner, first time routing at Santa Anita. And then when she came back to the races here at Del Mar, she was able to win, but I'm dubious at who she beat. Ginger's kind of been stuck on second. She just always is a runner-up type of horse over there. And Pratt jumps off. You have to take that into consideration. When you're looking at a race and you have the leading rider here, and he can pretty much get his pick. And where does he wind up? Not on the horse that won 2 races for him by 20 lengths combined.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I've got, by the way, those of you that, of course, watching live, thanks for watching, and please make sure you comment below the video player for any of the picks we talked about. If you subscribe to my race day blog, you'll receive that Saturday afternoon, and I will give my detailed ABC selections on my race day blog. But I'm going with the one, Michelle, but I have to say it is a soft pick. I like the way she did it last time because she did take some pressure. Granted, maybe it wasn't the strongest field, but she did take pressure and continued to sort of draw off and looked like distance wasn't a problem. And in a race, Michelle, that it looks like there are not a lot of horses that like to pass others. I like the aggressiveness that Drew is going to show and just say, come and get me. Maybe they will. But I like
you
Lady
say
Mystified.
Come and get me. I mean, you've got Private Mission on the outside that has some speed. I think I'm So Anna could be up there. Day Plan's going to send. I mean, it's not going to be just come and get me. It's going to be like who's fastest of them all.
Okay. Listen, this could be a crazy speed duel and something weird might happen. I mean, but I don't know. But when I'm not sure, other than the 4 that you like can pass, I'll just take a horse that I think will be on the lead. Maybe Private Mission, the 7, will be on the lead. But I think she's got some questions to answer. I realize it's Baffert and Pratt, but she's never gone beyond 6.5, and there's other speed in the race. To me, Private Mission is a play against on the win end. Obviously, the horse she can win, but I'm using her more defensively in the pick 6, for better or for worse. A very interesting race.
She is the bread top and bottom to go 2 turns, and they don't pay $750,000 too often for strictly sprinters unless you're Gamine, and it's $1 million.
Yeah, absolutely. The Private Gift, the dam obviously was good 2 turns. You're absolutely right. I'm not saying any way, shape, or form that the horse can't win. I just think she could be wide going first time 2 turns. I think a 9 to 5 is a pipe dream, Michelle. I feel in private gift will be like 6 to 5. I don't know. It's a very interesting race to start the sequence.
I will
And,
give you something on your end there. In Private Mission's last race where she won the allowance,
yeah.
Speed 1 races 1 through 5 on the card that day. So
Oh,
she could have just been on a speed favored track in a 4-horse field, right?
absolutely. That's a great information there from Michelle. That might have been a little bit of a bias on that day. Michelle, I know you didn't have a chance to see the email and you've been very busy, but as you can see on the screen there, do you have a top 3 pick just so people
Yes.
would
So
like to write that down
my
in
top
order?
pick is Forrest Caraway.
Okay, so
My
4.
second choice is I'm So Anna.
Mm-hmm.
And my third choice is Lady Mystify.
Okay, so wait a minute. I thought you loved the 7 there for a second. You don't have her in the top 3.
No, I just like to be argumentative.
Really?
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to say real quick, some people are not in this world genuine. Sometimes you see them on TV or other places, and you're like, that's not really how she is. I've met Michelle in person. What you see is what you get. Michelle is awesome. She's exactly the person that she is on, on TV, whatnot. I just want to point that out to the public, Michelle, because obviously most people have not met you, and you're just genuine and fantastic. So I just want to.
Thanks, Howard.
I really, truthfully, I just want to mention that. Let's go on to race 7. By the way, I said that just to counter anything negative you're going to say against me to balance things out. Just kidding. Race 7, Del Mar Mile, grade 2 on the turf. The great thing about tomorrow, Michelle, is basically all the best West Coast turf horses are running either in this race or the last race of the day. They're both just absolute wars. They're not huge fields, but there's a ton of talent. Who do you like in this grade 2 turf race?
I like Mo Forza in here on top. I think that last year he kind of stamped himself as the best that the West had to offer. Unfortunately, an injury kept him out of the Breeders' Cup, but I think he would have been a force to be reckoned with there. So he is my absolute top pick in this particular spot. I've always felt like Hit the Road. We haven't seen a ceiling of him yet, so he'll wind up as my second choice in here because we just don't know how good he is. He's shown that he is a grade 1 performer. He has won a grade 1. I think that we just don't even know if he might even be like a premier grade 1 type because he's had just so many setbacks along the way, and Dan Blacker has done such a good job bringing him back around so many times. He comes off the bench really fresh, when he's fresh. So I think all of that bodes very well for him. As far as Smooth Like Straight goes, again, another top-notch performer, but I think we know exactly what the type of horse that Smooth Like Straight is. So we've seen his ceiling and we know it's a good ceiling. But I do think that a horse like Mo Forza is a smidge better, even though he lacks recency. I just think that he's a little bit better horse. I've had a great time cheering on Smooth Like Straight, and he always brings his A game. So he is just freaking awesome to watch, right? A horse that brings it every time. But I think he might end up settling for second and maybe third in here.
Yeah, you have to love a horse like Smooth Like Straight. Just like you said,
you'd love to own him.
Every single time. I mean, 13 out of 6. We got there's the children noises. I think I heard that. 13 out of 16 in the money. Michelle, Mo Forza had a little bit of a soft tissue injury last year, and I was right to bet Mo Forza in the Breeders' Cup Mile. I thought he'd be like 5 or 6 to 1, and I was ready to go all in on Mo Forza in the Mile. I was disappointed that he got hurt. I don't have this horse on top just because of the layoff, but he's won obviously off the layoff before, and he can win this. I just think he's going to be very low price. I'm going to go with Smooth Like Straight, who I have to admit, Michelle, I've been against in general a few times, but it just seems to me here, Michelle, that this horse almost has to get a perfect trip. Either he's going to get the lead over Neptune Storm, or he's going to let Neptune Storm go and just sit right off.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you're ridiculous if you think that. I mean, Neptune Storm is Peter Miller's other horse, and Mo Forza needs pace. That horse is sent.
Okay. So Smooth Like Straight could just sit, in the pocket, not the pocket, but sit a few lengths off and is better than Neptune Storm. So because of the trip scenario, I have a hard time believing Smooth Like Straight is just not going to get a perfect trip. That being said, I almost picked Hit the Road on top for the same reason, because Hit the Road's going to sit that sort of pocket trip, not too far off of Smooth Like Straight. So I think the bottom line is if Mo Forza is ready to roll, he's going to win. I think we probably all agree with that. The question is he going to be ready to roll, and do you want to take him at like
Of
65?
course he is. Of course he's going to be ready to roll. It's Peter Miller off the layoff. He's
Okay.
insanely good. This horse comes in well off the layoff. I mean, he won this race off the layoff last year. It wasn't as big of a layoff, but it was still very good. So I think so. I'll tell you what hurts my heart is that I have backed Count again in his last like 5 starts. And I am waiting for a breakthrough win for him. And like now I'm like, oh crap, he's 4th best in watch. He'll end up winning the whole thing now because I'm a huge Count Again fan. So it hurts me to not like put him on top because I've been backing him so many stinking races now.
Yeah. I love him too. He just can't get pace. And I don't think there's going to be, actually he might get some
pace. There's going to be pace in here. Yeah.
Yeah, but it won't be contested pace, which I don't know if that matters or not, but they're not going to be like dueling up front. But I'm sure you're right about Neptune Storm. Anyway, it's a great race. You have to decide how many deep you want to go in your 20 cent, which will most likely be mandatory pick 6 unless something crazy happens today. A fantastic race for sure. Race 8, to me, Michelle, might be the race where you're going to get the biggest price of any of the races in the sequence. And I love these races because only at Del Mar and Saratoga do you see these N1X, big fields with really good horses. Maybe a Keeneland and of course Gulfstream in the winter. But this is a really good race, Michelle. I'm very interested to see where you're going because there are many ways you can go here.
Yeah, I had a hard time narrowing it down. I mean, you have to give the edge to Dream Shake, right? Because he's pretty much exclusively running stakes races since he has exclusively run in stakes races since breaking his maiden. His last race wasn't great, but it was also on the grass. So maybe he just, didn't appreciate that. He might not have liked the situation going on in the middle of the race for him. He is going to take blinkers off, which I think is really interesting. So I think that from a class standpoint, he's probably the one to beat in here. You have to like Risk and Reward for Bob Beffer, who came in off the layoff to break his maiden here. And that horse was coming in super well intended into that race. The guys that own Bobby Bow kind of knew that Beffer was throwing Risk and Reward in there as well, and were a little concerned about it. So he's 100% playable. I have to say that Scary Fast Smile, I really, really like, but I don't know if he's going to be capable of beating open horses like this. And the same goes for Positivity. He did win the Open 50 last time, but it was restricted to straight 3-year-olds. We've seen him run against open company stakes races types before, and I feel like we have a lot of stakesy types in here, and he just hasn't been, able to do that so far. If Little Bit of Metal wins this, I mean, that's crazy. He's really stepped up the class ladder.
I've just, as you were talking, I was just showing the Risk and Reward replay because I like the fact that Risk and Reward also galloped out well and looks like the distance won't be a problem. And Bobby Bow, by the way, came back and won his next, I believe, with an 87. Do I have that written down correctly? Yeah, came back with an 87.
We knew Bobby Bow wanted to go farther because he's like a one-paced wonder. So he needed that. But Risk and Reward, like you said, that was a good leaping off point that he was able to win. And then I think that he'll stretch out just fine.
Yeah, just some other horses that you mentioned. Scary Fast is Scary Fast early. I'm not sure. Well, we'll see. It depends on Tyler Baze's intent. You also mentioned Positivity, who ran a huge race last time, is coming off a claim, but it was only a few weeks ago, so I'm not sure how much Doug O'Neill has really been able to do with the horse, but might just be a new horse. And also you mentioned a Little Bit of Metal, who's very consistent older. My concern, and it's not much of a concern, Michelle, because I have Dream Shake in second, but that Pate Mile that he ran was just against Jackie's Warrior was just a complete throwdown, and he's regressed in those 2 races since. In your experience around horses, I know it definitely happens with fillies, but in your experience, is it possible that Dream Shake just might not be the same horse since he threw it down in that Pate Mile? Or do you think it was circumstances in the last 2 that are the reasons why he just didn't run that well?
I mean, could be, right? You could have your heart broken and then never run well again. But I think that I'll give him this race to see, because what he did was he ran the Woody Stevens, and Belmont is that big sandy racetrack, and the track was not fast that day. I think he just labored. And, he had shifted, and I just think that the whole scenario surrounding it maybe wasn't ideal. And then, like I said, last time they tried him on the grass from a pedigree standpoint, he should be able to go 2 turns on the grass, but I think it was his first time on there. He was a little bit keen early on to go, I thought. And then, he got kind of like crowded in a little bit and just kind of spit the bit and faded. He only got beat 2.5 overall. It wasn't terrible. And for a minute at the top of the stretch, I actually thought he was going to run really well. But I think that you can definitely, come back from that. And this is his day, though, right? I mean, this is a huge class drop for him, even though he's facing some older colts. This is the first time he's not facing stakes horses. So this is the be all end all. So either Dream Shake wins this, or we just kind of like wash our hands of him for a long time.
I completely agree with you. He should just sit like a pocket trip, and if he can't win here, I think, I'm not sure where they're going to go with him. I just want to mention my third choice, Established, who ran into Ginobili last time, who Ginobili was supposed to be a good horse, and then last time put it all together. And Michelle, you've probably been watching almost all the races at Del Mar. I'm not sure they've gone as fast, 2 turns as they did in that race, the entire meet. I'm not sure. Maybe you could tell us, but that pace was blazing, and Ginobili still went on with it. And Established made a middle move into the race and just couldn't sustain it. But I think Baltz has got this horse going in the right direction. I wouldn't be surprised if Established runs a big race off the pace as well. But my top choice is Risk and Reward, hoping that he doesn't take too much pressure on the front and that this 3-year-old by Frosted is just coming into his own. But a very tough race for sure, an allowance race. All right, we end with 3 graded stakes, Michelle, and they're all fantastic. Race 9 is on turf. It's restricted 3-year-old fillies. It's a mile and eighth.
Howard, hold on. I just want to tell you, my top pick is Dream Shake, and my second choice is Risk and Reward for that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so you have 2-1, and then do you have a third?
No, not really.
All right, 2-1-X for Michelle. That's all we need, folks. Just use the 1 and 2 in your pick 6 or pick 5 or whatever you want to do, and that's all you need.
If it's not one of those, it could be anybody.
I would agree. The mile and eighth, grade 1, Del Mar Oaks. These are 3-year-old fillies. Many have raced against each other, and we have an interloper coming in from the East Coast for Chad Brown, who has done this before many times. Another a bit of a tricky race, Michelle. I personally. I'm going to let you go first, but I sort of think you either single here or you go deep again. What's your impression of the Del Mar Oaks?
Yeah, I want to use a couple of horses in here, and I think that how do you not use Fluffy Socks? Although her form this year hasn't been as good as we saw when she came over here last year. She was running just a little bit better, and I'm not sure why that was. I don't know if it's like her and she just hasn't progressed and she was a little precocious, or if she's just facing tougher horses. So I'm kind of using her with like a grain of salt, and I want to take a look at her when she gets here. I really like
Michelle, can I just interrupt you just a second? Because something about Fluffy Socks I wanted to mention. When you look at the PPs, I'm not sure that last number. Are you okay? Do you need to attend to your child, or is everything okay? Okay.
No, Olivia's being mean to Spencer.
What's new, right? Brothers and sisters.
Okay. Tell her stop being mean. There you go, buddy. Okay.
I just want to mention for our viewers here that I'm not sure that number is accurate with Fluffy Socks on the Beyer, because you look at the form, the winner increased the Beyer 9 points, Fluffy Socks increased 7, Toby's Heart increased 4. I don't know. I just want to point out that I'm not sure I believe the 88. I sorry to interrupt you, but I think it's something worth mentioning. Go ahead.
Okay. So I actually am a big fan of Havanika, who she hasn't been the most consistent, right? She ran second in the El Camino Real Derby against Boys to Rombauer. I thought she was going to win that race. Obviously, Rombauer went on to win the Preakness. And then her next couple of outs were not great. And then she was able to win last time on the turf course, which is where they're going to be running here. And she beat Burgoo Alley, who is a pretty decent, quasi-lifetime maiden type sort for Phil D'Amato, but she's entered in a stake or is nominated to a stake as well. But just the way this field has been training, she just happens to work like when I work in the mornings, because Millie and I trade off as far as doing works goes. And literally she starts, I'm like, oh, who's that? Oh, it's Havanika again. She just looks fit and she looks strong and she looks fast. So for me, I kind of have to use her in here based on the way she's been training. And if you want to go to some back form, second behind Rombauer and second behind Fluffy Socks, if you like Fluffy Socks, maybe you have to kind of like Havanika. So I for sure am going to use her in my picks. I also really like Going Global. I don't know how you can really not like her. The Mile and an Eighth, I think, is going to be great for her. She came off a little bit of a freshening, and she ran second to Madone and the San Clemente, who I loved Madone and the San Clemente to beat Going Global, because I think Madone loves a mile, and I think Going Global likes a little bit further. So I think that Going Global is going to be able to turn the tables on Madone.
Do you want to talk about the
particular
stretch run?
instance.
I'm sorry. Do you want to talk about the stretch run? The 2 is going global, and Madone, the 9, got the jump on her. I think the 5 is the another horse in this race as well. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so watching these here, I think the 5 was Tetragonal, right? So
yes,
Madone's all the way on the outside in the absolute clear. Going Global is going to like bully her way through, and she looked like she was going to be home free, but Madone just had this like nice big stride. And like I said, she really just excels when she goes a mile. It's a perfect distance for her. She doesn't ever win, I feel like, by a lot. She just kind of always gets the job done, but the mile just suits her really well. And you would guess with her running style, oh, farther is better. I just don't ever think that she has quite the kick when she goes a little bit farther.
Okay. You know, I have is it Javanica or Javanica? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Javanica. I have her as a C, but I might move her up because this looks like a potential East Coast kind of New York turf race where Drayden could just steal it on the lead. I mean, there is not a lot of speed in this race. If I'm Drayden and I'm aggressive, I don't know how you feel. This horse should be ridden, Michelle, but I would be very aggressive with Javanica and try to get the jump on the closers. Is that what you, based on the training you've seen, is that what you anticipate here, or is it hard to say?
I mean, I think that watching her in the morning, she looks really keen to go and do her job, and then she's finishing up beautifully. So if she breaks sharp, you know, Drayden's not necessarily a send rider, but he's a stay out of your way type guy. So I think that if she drags him to the front, I think he'll be fine to sit there and do that.
Okay. A very interesting race. Michelle's interested. Do you have a top 3, I'm sorry, in this race?
So my top pick is going to be Going Global in here. And then I'm going to use Javanica, and then I'm going to use Luffy Socks.
So 3, 2, 7, I believe, are the numbers for Michelle.
Yeah, I don't have numbers on my PP. Sorry.
No problem. I've got it. It's 3, 2, 7. All right, let's go on to the big one. Let me go ahead and switch the screens here. The Pacific Classic. It's always a great race. We know it's for $1 million, mile and a quarter on dirt. Older horses. I don't think there are any superstars this year, Michelle, but it's a very, very interesting betting race. There's also, we got some horses coming off layoff. We have a horse for Pletcher coming from the East Coast. Michelle, who is going to win this year's Pacific Classic?
I have no idea, Howard.
Great answer. Well, thanks for joining us. No, I hear you. Who do you prefer?
I mean,
who do you think will win?
I've been a Royal Ship fan since he came here, so I like Royal Ship. I think that he was against the trends in the San Diego, and he settled for third. I think he can definitely improve in here. I also like Tripoli because I think that speed was pretty prevalent in the San Diego, like the day of the San Diego, and he came from, you know, off of it to run second to Express Train. So I think that he can move forward in here. And I say I love the stories behind Sheriff Brown and Cupid's Claws. On paper, I don't know if they necessarily match up, but crazier things have happened. But if you're looking for the great storyline, it's definitely Sheriff Brown or Cupid's Claws.
Just because they're long shots, or do you have some? Do you know the
connections?
No,
so the Sheriff Brown is actually owned by Joe Peacock, and his dad was in racing for a really long time. And he actually recently passed, and so Joe Peacock Jr. here, Joey, took over the racing business, and the dad was breeding all these mares and ended up kind of selling everything except for one stakes mare that he had named Rose's Desert, and he went on to breeding Rose's Desert, and Rose's Desert has produced for them the Runaway Ghost, who won the Sunland Derby, and horse, and like another really good fit. Like everything that she's produced has been like a stakes winner. This horse had a decent sized excuse for the San Diego. He's like super mentally quirky, and he did not like to be shipped in and run. Now he's been based here, so they're going to give it another shot. But just like the old school family connections here, and I just, you know, he was on my radio show, my podcast with Billy Koch, Joey Peacock, a couple weeks ago. So we got to hear all about him. So I have like a little bit of a rooting interest there. And Cupid's Claws, you know, anytime you have a claiming horse that turns around to do something good, I think it's always amazing. So they claim Cupid's Claws for 50. They brought him back in the Grade 3 Tokyo City, which he was able to win. Subsequently, he hasn't won since, but he has run pretty well for his connections. That was his first start on dirt, was the win in the Tokyo City. And he's got really great connections as well, including Jerry Westlow, who again was on the owner's box. So, someone else we just like to root for there.
The cheap plugs are just coming. No, the owner's box show, by the way, is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, folks out there, you got to check it out on In the Money. Michelle does a great job with Billy Koch. It's a lot of fun. You gotta love the New Mexico breds, right? The Peppers prides of the world. Right. Michelle, my opinion here, I have a fairly strong opinion. Whether it's gonna be right or wrong, I don't know if Royal Ship likes Del Mar. I just. He ran perfectly fine last time. I'm not going to show the replay, but he really had absolutely no excuses. He saved ground. He just waited, tried to come on the inside, had plenty of room, and just didn't get the job done. He's only had 2 races at Del Mar, but there's something that tells me that Royal Ship is better at Santa Anita. I mean, I guess that's a no-brainer, Howard. Duh. I mean, look at the buyers, right? 105 and 108 at Santa Anita, and hasn't matched that at Del Mar. I'm going with a fresh face here. I think I loved Dr. Post last year. I actually had a nice exacta with him underneath and with Tiz the Law in the Belmont, and I've sort of been a fanboy of his ever since. I think this horse is just coming along for Pletcher. And what I find interesting, Michelle, is I believe 2 weeks from now, they're running the Jockey Gold Club the Jockey Gold Cup at Saratoga. So Pletcher could have waited, right, for that race in about 2 weeks, but instead he ships this horse out to, Del Mar. So does that mean he thinks the competition would be tougher out east, or is he just going more for a bigger purse? I'm not really sure, but to me, either way, it just exudes a lot of confidence.
I think that you look at that and it's a win and you're in race out here. It's $1 million with no superstars, like you said. You're going to get fast and firm conditions, whereas that is definitely suspect over at Saratoga, and this horse hasn't run in off conditions before. And this is really giving you a good indication of how he's going to handle Del Mar, and this is where the Breeders' Cup is. We've seen Todd Pletcher do this before when he shipped Vina Rosso out to Southern California before he won the Breeders' Cup at Santa Anita.
Absolutely right. You said all the points that are important for sure. And Michelle, most importantly to me, forget all those wonderful, information you just gave us. He won last time without a whip. So I've got don't even get me started with the whip rule. Anyway, I think Dr. Post has a huge shot here. I'm interested to see what price he's going to be. My second choice is Express Train. I love what Juan Hernandez has done with this horse. All he does is put himself in a perfect spot. He's got a huge chance for sheriffs, and I've got the 4 Royal Ship in third. I really want to upgrade Tripoli, and I know this might sound harsh, but I'm just going to say it because that's that we got to be honest. Tiago Pereira is not a bad jockey, but the fact of the matter is he's 1 for 56 this meet. I cannot take a jockey on top, in a race for $1 million, the biggest race of the entire meet, who's 1 for 56.
He actually won a race yesterday. Had $150
2 for 57.
Winner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, no disrespect to Tiago Pereira. He's a fine jockey, but this is a whole other animal. Plus, I'm not sure if the distance is what this horse wants, but Hronis Racing and John Sadler knows how to win this race, so it wouldn't shock me at all. We have about 5 minutes left. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Less than. So Royal Ship's my top pick. My second choice is Dr. Post, and my third choice is Tripoli.
Did you say Royal Ship was your top pick? I'm sorry.
Yes.
4-3-1. Michelle is going 4-3-1 in the Pacific Classic. The last race, Michelle, another fantastic race. It's on turf. This time they're going marathon distance, mile on 3/8. I guess you could say it's a prep for the Breeders' Cup turf for those that in this race that might go there. It's a Grade 2 Del Mar handicap, 3-year-olds and up. It's 3 turns. It's a short run of the first turn. Michelle, who do you like in the last race to close out the card?
I think you have to like United in here. He was a winner last time against his game. I think that 1 1/8 is too short for him, but I love him stretching back out. I also really like award winner for David Hoffman. He was 5th last time out going shorter, but I think, again, another horse that really wants the distance. He's got a beautiful pedigree. He's been training really well, so I like him in there.
Isn't Acclimate going to get in his way?
I mean, we definitely know that we're gonna see Acclimate on the front end, right? But I don't know. I think that some of the horses are a little bit classier than Acclimate
Okay.
is currently. Like he's winning these races against like some of the horses like you see Astronaut, Red King that
Yeah.
maybe aren't on their A games anymore. So we
Yep.
know he loves the distance, and it's great for him to be running as well as he is at age 7, and especially as a marathoner. But I just think that this field that he's facing is different than the last couple of fields he's been up against.
Yeah, I would agree with you. This is the top of the top. I will just admit, I was against United last time, and he just continues to run well and prove me wrong. I thought maybe that the race two back was sort of the beginning of a regression, but this horse just came back and ran huge and beat the aforementioned Smooth Like Straight and Count again. Michelle, just to end this conversation, you got Arklow, who's 5-2 more in line for Brad Cox, who had a weird trip last time. You'd have to watch the replay. Definitely had some big time trouble on the approaching the far turn. And then another horse that I'm assuming you've liked also, because I've liked Count again, is Say the Word, who seems to be maybe better at this longer distance. What do you think of Say the Word and Arklow in this spot?
Yeah, Say the Word's a really cool guy. Again, with the marathon distance, I think he definitely suits. But what I always see from him, I feel like, is like a decent enough kick, but not enough punch sometimes to,
Mm-hmm.
he's like closing. He's just not closing like quick enough, and I don't know what to do to make a difference there. He's had some really great jockeys. You're gonna get another new one today in Joe Bravo. But I can't love him on top, although I do like him, and I wouldn't be surprised if he won. And as far as Arklow goes, you mentioned the trip he got last time. I think he's had plenty of good races. He's been around the block for a long time, and he likes to win races. So all of that are positives for me. But I'm just not in love with him necessarily. He was here galloping the other day, and he didn't look like a horse that was like on tilt, ready to run his race to me.
That's the great thing about having Michelle in these shows is we get inside information that I obviously not there and I wouldn't know what they look like. So Michelle's I'm going to go ahead a little bit after I take you off the show and talk more details about my ticket construction. But is there a horse that you would lean on? Let's say for players that want to play a smaller pick six ticket, is there a single or horse you'd lean on in this sequence?
You
tough,
mean
right?
like
There's
in
really
the
no
entire
obvious single.
sequence? There's no single. I mean, Dream Shape to me would probably be the closest thing to a single if you just believe that the class makes a difference.
Do we have a visitor there? Does she want to come on Worldwide TV?
Olivia, you want to say hi?
Hi, Olivia.
She's too short to be seen.
That's okay. Hi.
And she can't hear you because I have earphones in. They're saying hi.
Oh my goodness. Okay. That's old hat for her. I'm sure she's been on TV many times.
All right, Howard, I gotta go. My other show is starting now.
Michelle, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Take care. All right. So that was Michelle Yu. We're not done with our conversation yet. I know that she had to leave at noon, so we really appreciate Michelle coming on. She's awesome as usual. There's my caveman pick six, everyone. Again, there's my caveman pick six. If I had to lean on someone, I don't know. It's between Going Global or Smooth Like Straight. I'm really not sure who it's going to be right now. This 3 here that you see in race 4 is Smooth Like Straight. So again, you'd have to make a decision. Do you prefer Going Global or Smooth Like Straight? In my opinion, you could single United. There's a lot of horses you can single in this sequence, but really, it's very difficult for me to find a single at all in this sequence. So there's my ticket. It's $86.40. If you want to use it, feel free. Again, if you belong to my race day blog, you will get a detailed ABC analysis of the pick six. And also on this week's blog, I'm going to be sending out information about the Sunday card at Woodbine because it's Queen's Plate Day on Sunday. It's their biggest day of the year, and they have a fantastic late pick 5 Sunday at Woodbine. So for those of you that belong to the Race Day blog, and if you'd like to find information about the Race Day blog, there it is right there. Very inexpensive. You can also look below the video player, and if it's not up immediately, I'll get it up for more details about the Race Day blog, but you can see the website there to join. I have a decent list right now. I'd like to have a bigger list It's been very successful with a lot of winners and a lot of really good ABC selections. So please take a look at the Race Day blog. Also, you can follow me at Canterbury Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Now, the last thing I want to say before we end the show, and I greatly go ahead, and by the way, Michael Bryant, Michael makes a good point. You can absolutely take a stand with Mo Forza. I'm not going to do it, Michael. I understand anyone that wants to. I'm concerned about the 9-month layoff and a little bit of a soft tissue injury. There'd be nothing wrong with signaling Mo Forza. It's just not my cup of tea coming off a long layoff with good horses in there. But obviously, Mo Forza can win the race. I want to make a quick public announcement to everyone. So starting Monday, my full-time high school teaching math job starts up again. So I'm going to have to pull back on the number of live streams and my schedule. I do a lot of things right now. I have several live streams that I do, of course, for the HHH Racing podcast. I also have a race day blog that I write on Saturdays. I also cover Canterbury Park for In the Money Media on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, in which I need to handicap the whole card, of course, and then do a write-up for that. That takes a lot of time. So I have a lot of things going on right now, and obviously my full-time job is most important. So I need to this weekend sort of reevaluate my schedule. I will be getting back to you in detail on what's going to happen with the number of shows on the HHH Racing podcast. But for sure, I'm not going anywhere. This is not a goodbye at all. I'm still going to do one show a week for sure, if not more than that. The next feature show, by the way, let me tell you about that because I'm very excited. The next feature show, it's actually on the bottom of the screen on the scroll. Next Thursday, I'm going to have two guests to cover the details of the Travers Day races on Saturday at Saratoga. The feature broadcast will be my usually scheduled time. It'll be on Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It doesn't say the time on there, but it's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Nick Tamero, my good friend Nick Tamero, will be on the show once again. Fantastic analyst. He's worn many hats, and he was just recently, by the way, told he's going to be the race call announcer full-time at Sam Houston in Texas. So congratulations to Nick Tamero, who is going to be the full-time race announcer at Sam Houston. He will be on the show to help us handicap next Thursday, along with my good friend Tom Halloran, who writes for The Special out in Saratoga. He's a journalist. He covers horse racing. He's a big fan of Saratoga and East Coast racing. He's been on the show also before. So we have great intel next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, for our flagship show to cover Travers Day right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. You do not want to miss it. So that's going to go ahead and wrap up episode 78 of the HHH Racing Podcast. I know a lot of you were not able to make the show live today because of the unusual afternoon time, but I want to make sure that we had the wonderful Michelle Yu on. If you watch this as a replay, thanks for watching. Please make sure you comment down below the video player. Hit that like button. Any questions, concerns, make sure you comment. And good luck to everyone tomorrow on Pacific Classic Day. Crush that mandatory pick six bet. I want to hear all of your great successes next week on the show. And then, of course, follow me on Twitter for updates throughout the weekend at Del Mar and Woodbine. Have a great day, everyone. Good luck tomorrow and Sunday. Take care. Bye-bye.